Welcome to Life Stories 1, where we explore tales of resilience and unexpected turns. Today, we delve into the story of Tyler Graves, a brilliant designer facing a career crossroads. After meticulous refinement, changing not core concepts but sharpening presentations, Tyler emailed his latest designs to Melissa, a senior figure at Ascent Gear, a promising outdoor equipment company. Simple notes explained the functionality behind each innovative piece. He then slept soundly, a stark contrast to recent months. Morning brought Melissa's curt email. My office, 10 a.m., bring your contract terms. Choosing his field jacket and boots, Tyler drove to Ascent Gear's bustling headquarters, a creative chaos of samples and prototypes. Melissa, direct and focused, gestured to his 6 designs pinned to a corkboard. These solve problems we've been chasing for 2 seasons, she stated, tapping his modular weatherproof system. How soon can you start? I'm available now, Tyler replied. Good, Melissa nodded, because we're moving fast on these, very fast. For the first time in what felt like an age, Tyler genuinely smiled. If you enjoy stories of talent finding its true north, make sure to subscribe to Life Stories. Your feedback is very important for us to improve the quality of our videos. If you like this video, please comment 1. If you are not satisfied, please comment 0, so we can improve the video in the future. Thank you. Just 1 week into his invigorating new role at Ascent Gear, Tyler received an unexpected call. It was Peter, the production manager from his old company, TerraPeak Outfitters. They had spent years side by side, navigating the intricate dance between cutting-edge design and manufacturing reality. Tyler, this is unofficial. Peter's voice was low, almost conspiratorial. But things are falling apart here. Justin's designs, the ones that replaced yours, look great in renderings. But they're a nightmare to actually make. Materials aren't behaving, and the prototype backpacks are already 2 pounds overweight. Tyler listened, a familiar ache surfacing despite himself. Not my problem anymore, he stated, though a sliver of his former investment remained. Peter pressed on. That's not all. Elena is telling everyone you left the team without proper documentation on your production processes. She's spinning a narrative to executive leadership that you actively sabotaged the transition. That jolted Tyler upright. That's a flat-out lie, he retorted, his voice sharp. I know, Peter conceded, but she's incredibly convincing. Vivian, one of the VPs, even asked me if there was any merit to it. A chill snaked down Tyler's spine. This wasn't merely about moving on. Elena was actively trying to poison his professional reputation. Against his better judgment, driven by a need to protect his name, Tyler emailed Vivian, requesting a brief meeting to clear the air. She agreed to coffee the following morning. The cafe was busy, a neutral public space he'd hoped would keep things civil. Vivian arrived 10 minutes late, her gaze already flicking to her watch. Tyler decided to be direct. Vivian, I understand Elena is suggesting I deliberately left TerraPeak without proper documentation. That's untrue. All my files are meticulously organized on the shared drive, and I personally walked Justin through my entire process before my departure. Vivian nodded, her expression unreadable, a practiced mask of corporate neutrality. She did mention you might get defensive about this, Vivian remarked coolly. Look, Tyler, the outdoor industry is small. I'd truly hate to see your reputation damaged by any unpleasantness. The threat, though veiled in feigned concern, was unmistakable. Stay quiet, or they would make things difficult. I appreciate your concern, Vivian, Tyler replied, choosing his words with utmost care. And I'd equally hate for TerraPeak to waste significant production resources on designs that can't be manufactured effectively. A flicker of annoyance crossed her eyes. We'll manage our production challenges internally, thank you. I do hope you'll be discreet about company matters going forward. As she turned to leave, Tyler's phone buzzed. A text from Melissa at Ascent Gear. Contract's ready. We want to move fast on your weatherproof collection. Tyler glanced at Vivian's retreating figure. She had no idea what was truly in motion. 3 days after the disquieting coffee meeting with Vivian, a certified letter arrived. It was from TerraPeak Outfitters' legal department. The language was cautious, meticulously avoiding direct accusations, yet it dripped with insinuation, suggesting a review of his employment history regarding potential confidentiality concerns and hinting at possible violations of company policies. Tyler immediately took it to Melissa at Ascent Gear. Without a word, she passed it to their in-house legal team. Their counsel reviewed it swiftly. "This is a standard intimidation tactic," their lawyer explained, his tone dismissive. "They have no actual case. The designs you're creating for us are entirely original, and crucially, you had no non-compete clause in your TerraPeak contract. They're simply trying to scare you into backing down, to slow your momentum with us." "Should I respond?" Tyler asked, the legal jargon making him uneasy despite the lawyer's confidence. "No," came the firm reply. "We'll handle it." That same evening, Ascent Gear's lawyer dispatched a concise, yet devastatingly effective reply to TerraPeak. It stated, "We have extensive documentation of Mr. Graves's innovative designs that were rejected during his tenure at your company, complete with submission dates and subsequent dismissals by your management. We would welcome the opportunity to compare those with your current product development timeline in court, should you wish to pursue this matter." 2 days crawled by in silence from TerraPeak's end. Then, Peter called again, his voice a mixture of disbelief and urgency. "Tyler, what in the world did you do?" he almost whispered into the phone. "Elena just had a closed-door meeting with legal, and she came out looking like she'd seen a ghost." Tyler offered no explanation, a knowing silence his only response. "Just watch your back," Peter warned, his concern genuine. "She's not going to give up easily." 2 days later, another figure from his past at TerraPeak reached out. Thomas, a sharp analyst from the materials department, invited him to lunch. They met at a noisy burger joint downtown, far from the prying eyes of either company's headquarters. After they ordered, Thomas slid his tablet across the table. "You need to see this," he said, his expression serious. Displayed on the screen was TerraPeak's internal marketing brief for their upcoming fall collection. Thomas, it seemed, still had his sources. Tyler scrolled through the slick presentation, his blood running cold as he landed on the product mock-ups. His breath caught. They were his designs, the exact innovative concepts Elena had personally rejected 6 months prior. Now, they were brazenly rebranded as the Apex Collection, with Justin's name prominently listed as the lead designer. "They're planning a major launch in September," Thomas confirmed quietly. "Full marketing push. They've already placed massive orders for materials." The realization hit Tyler with the force of a physical blow. She hadn't just rejected his designs. She had rejected them knowing, even then, that she intended to usurp them later. She just didn't want him to get the credit or the reward. Thomas nodded, confirming Tyler's dawning horror. "It certainly looks that way," he said, his voice grim. "She rejected your work, bided her time, and now she's planning to launch it as her own team's triumph." He then took the tablet back, his fingers flying across the screen, opening another document. "But here's something else you should know, something that might just change the game." His eyes met Tyler's, a spark of strategic excitement in them. "Melissa at Ascent Gear is ready to play hardball. She's convinced the CEO to fast-track your new collection. They can reallocate resources, push production. They believe they can have your designs, the Pinnacle Series, on the market by August." Tyler processed this rapidly. August. That was a full month before TerraPeak's planned launch of the stolen Apex collection. "Yes," Thomas affirmed, seeing the understanding in Tyler's eyes. "And crucially, it would be launched with proper attribution to you as the designer. Your name, your vision, out there first." He looked at Tyler intently. "But you need to decide now, Tyler. Once they initiate this accelerated production, there's no turning back. It's a significant commitment from Ascent Gear." Tyler didn't hesitate for a second. The thought of Elena profiting from his stolen work, while he was muzzled and his true creations delayed, was unbearable. This was a chance not just for success, but for justice. "Let's do it," he said, a surge of adrenaline coursing through him. That very evening, Tyler called Melissa and formally accepted Ascent Gear's accelerated timeline for the Pinnacle Series. The contract they had prepared was unlike anything TerraPeak had ever offered. It included something revolutionary for him: substantial royalties on every single unit sold featuring his designs. Furthermore, it granted him complete creative control over the final production specifications, a level of trust and respect he'd craved for years. "We're calling it the Pinnacle Series," Melissa explained over the phone, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. "And we're not hiding our star designer. We want your name, Tyler Graves, featured prominently in all the marketing. Your story, your expertise, that's part of the appeal." 2 days later, Tyler was back in Melissa's creatively cluttered office at Ascent Gear's headquarters. He signed the paperwork, a sense of profound validation washing over him. He then handed over his complete design files, not just the initial concepts, but meticulously detailed production specifications, precise material requirements, and comprehensive manufacturing guidelines. These were the fruits of his true, uncompromised vision. As he returned home that evening, an email landed in his personal inbox. The sender: Elena. "Tyler," it began, the tone falsely congenial. "I hope this message finds you well. I was reviewing some of our upcoming designs at TerraPeak and realized we might benefit significantly from your unique expertise in a consulting capacity. Would you be open to discussing this further?" Tyler stared at the message, a humorless laugh escaping him. The audacity was almost comical. He deleted it without a moment's hesitation, a small, satisfying click of the mouse. The following week, Tyler found himself on a comprehensive tour of Ascent Gear's primary manufacturing facility, accompanied by their core production team. He quickly saw that they had never attempted anything quite like his Pinnacle Series before. The designs were built around a modular system, where individual components could work independently but achieved peak functionality when integrated as a cohesive unit, a philosophy he'd championed fruitlessly at TerraPeak. After the tour, Diane, the lead production engineer, a woman with a no-nonsense demeanor and incredibly sharp eyes, pulled him aside. "These designs are revolutionary, Tyler," she stated bluntly, her gaze unwavering. "But let's be clear, they're also complex as hell to manufacture efficiently. If we're genuinely going to hit that August deadline Melissa is pushing for, I need you here, on this floor, every single day. We'll need your brain, your eyes, your hands-on expertise." "Whatever it takes, Diane," Tyler assured her, his commitment absolute. For the next month, "whatever it takes" became his mantra. He worked grueling 16-hour days, fueled by coffee and the sheer excitement of creation. He slept on a cot in a small office at the facility on at least 2 occasions, particularly when they were conducting round-the-clock waterproofing tests for the new outerwear. The initially skeptical production team quickly grew to respect him. They saw that he didn't just hand off blueprints. He understood the practical challenges they faced, spoke their language, and actively collaborated on solutions. Unlike Elena, who often dismissed manufacturing concerns as someone else's problem, Tyler saw it as an integral part of the design process. Halfway through this intense period, another email from Vivian of TerraPeak found its way to his inbox. "Tyler, we really should discuss your current activities. I'm concerned this could impact your professional future negatively." Another veiled threat, another clumsy attempt to control what they themselves had discarded. He simply forwarded it to Ascent Gear's legal team without comment and immersed himself back in the intricate dance of bringing the Pinnacle Series to life. Ascent Gear, true to Melissa's word, moved with astonishing speed and decisiveness. Within 3 demanding weeks, they had the first full prototypes of his weatherproof collection ready. Tyler spent days in their workshop, a space humming with focused energy, fine-tuning every detail, working directly with the skilled artisans and technicians on the production team to ensure every stitch, every seam, every closure was perfect. The Pinnacle Series was more than just a collection. It was an ecosystem of 5 interconnected products: a revolutionary modular backpack, all-weather outerwear with intelligently removable and adaptable components, footwear designed for diverse terrains, ergonomic and lightweight camping equipment, and a range of specialized accessories. Each piece was a standalone marvel of engineering, but together they formed a system of unparalleled versatility, precisely what he'd been trying and failing to get TerraPeak to understand for years. Melissa also brought him into key marketing meetings, a courtesy Elena had never extended. She listened intently as Tyler explained the core practical benefits that should be highlighted. "These aren't fashion statements," he emphasized to their marketing team. "These are tools, precision instruments for people who depend on their gear to perform in extreme, often unforgiving conditions." By late July, whispers began to circulate through the tight-knit outdoor industry. Retailers who had received exclusive preview samples of the Pinnacle Series were beyond impressed. They were buzzing. Online forums dedicated to gear and outdoor adventures lit up with speculation about Ascent Gear's bold and unexpected new direction. Then came the inevitable call from Peter at TerraPeak. "Tyler," he began, his voice strained. "Did you—" He stopped abruptly, catching himself. "Never mind. I shouldn't be asking." "What's happening over there, Peter?" Tyler asked, though he had a strong suspicion. "Vivian saw Ascent Gear's preview catalog for retailers," Peter said quietly, a note of awe in his voice. "The Pinnacle Series. Tyler, it's remarkable." "Elena is in full panic mode. She's screaming that Ascent Gear stole concepts from us." Tyler remained silent, letting the implication hang in the air. "The thing is," Peter continued, his voice dropping even lower, "we both know these aren't stolen from TerraPeak's current concepts. They're your original designs, the very ones Elena rejected months ago, aren't they?" "I can't really comment on that, Peter," Tyler replied carefully, choosing his words with precision. "You don't have to," Peter said, a hint of admiration in his tone. "Your name is on them. Clear as day, right there in the catalog. Designed by Tyler Graves, former lead designer at TerraPeak Outfitters. It's brilliant." The following day, Vivian herself called Tyler's personal cell. He watched her name flash on the screen and calmly let it go to voicemail. Her message, when he listened to it later, was terse and agitated. "Tyler, this is highly unprofessional. We need to discuss this situation immediately." Instead of returning her call, Tyler drove to Ascent Gear's headquarters for the final product launch meeting. The marketing campaign was polished and ready to deploy. The manufacturing lines were primed and humming. In just 2 short weeks, the Pinnacle Series would hit specialized outdoor retailers nationwide, a full month ahead of TerraPeak's planned launch of their suspiciously similar Apex collection. The night before the official launch of the Pinnacle Series, Tyler couldn't sleep. 7 years he'd poured into TerraPeak Outfitters, countless prototypes, hundreds of sketches, endless hours refining ideas. All that relentless work, all that passion, had unexpectedly led him to this precise moment. It wasn't the path he'd envisioned, but perhaps, he mused, it was the way it needed to happen. At 5 a.m., restless and unable to stay in bed, he drove to a familiar trail just outside the city, the same trail where he had rigorously tested many of his early TerraPeak designs. Dawn was just beginning to break as he hiked to the ridge, the air cool and damp. Exactly the kind of challenging conditions his weatherproof system was engineered to handle. As the first rays of sun painted the horizon, his phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. "It's live. Website just went up. First orders are already coming in." Tyler stood on that ridge, watching the sunrise, a complex mix of vindication and a strange, lingering sadness swirling within him. He hadn't wanted his tenure at TerraPeak to end this way, in acrimony and theft. He'd given that company everything he had, but they had ultimately chosen Elena's vision over his, style over substance, office politics over genuine innovation. Now, the market would be the ultimate arbiter, deciding which approach truly resonated. By the time he hiked back to his car, his phone was exploding. 17 missed calls from unknown numbers. Outdoor journalists, influential industry bloggers, and respected gear reviewers were all scrambling to get the inside story behind Ascent Gear's surprising and game-changing new collection. And amidst the clamor, one message from Elena. "You've made a serious mistake." He finally called her back. When she answered, her voice tight with suppressed fury, he said simply, "No, Elena, you did." The Pinnacle Series launched on August 12th. By noon, Ascent Gear's website had crashed twice due to the sheer volume of traffic. Their customer service lines were flooded with calls from retailers, all desperate to increase their initial orders. Tyler watched it all unfold from Melissa's office as outdoor magazines and gear review sites published their advanced glowing reviews. Revolutionary, game-changing, sets a new standard for outdoor gear. His name, Tyler Graves, appeared in every single article. 3 days after the triumphant launch, Outside Magazine ran a prominent feature. It directly compared the Pinnacle Series to leaked images of TerraPeak Outfitters' upcoming Apex collection. The headline was a masterpiece of damning insinuation. Separated at birth, the curious case of two identical product lines. The article didn't explicitly accuse TerraPeak of theft, but it meticulously raised pointed questions about the development timeline, noting that Tyler Graves had, in fact, designed elements recognizable in both collections, even though TerraPeak was crediting Justin for their version. Outdoor forums and social media platforms exploded with speculation. Industry insiders who knew Tyler from trade shows and his reputation at TerraPeak connected the dots almost immediately. Side-by-side comparison images went viral, accompanied by sharp questions about intellectual property and design integrity. Vivian called again. This time, Tyler answered. "This is completely unacceptable, Tyler," she began, dispensing with any greeting. "You've deliberately undermined our company." "I designed innovative products for a company that hired me to do exactly that, Vivian," Tyler replied, his voice calm and steady. "Products, I might add, that you are now attempting to sell under someone else's name. We'll need to discuss legal options," she threatened, her voice strained. "That would be an interesting discussion," Tyler countered smoothly. "Because I have emails from Elena dating back 6 months explicitly rejecting these exact designs. What do you think a court would make of the fact that TerraPeak is now producing them with someone else's name attached?" A heavy silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken admissions. "You should have valued what you had when you had it," Tyler added quietly. "Good luck with your launch." The following week, TerraPeak Outfitters announced they were postponing the release of their Apex collection for additional refinement and testing. Industry analysts, however, saw it for what it was: a strategic retreat in the face of a public relations disaster and potential legal entanglement. By October, the Pinnacle Series had shattered all previous first-quarter sales records for Ascent Gear. Tyler's royalty checks began to arrive, each one reflecting the incredible success, quickly exceeding what his annual salary at TerraPeak had ever been. Melissa, true to her belief in his talent, promoted him to design director, giving him his own team of 6 promising young designers and complete creative control over Ascent Gear's next 3 seasonal collections. Thomas, his ally from TerraPeak, transferred from their materials department to join Tyler's new department as a technical advisor. TerraPeak Outfitters eventually released a hastily redesigned collection that bore little resemblance to Tyler's original brilliant work. The reviews were lukewarm, and their stock price dropped a noticeable 8% the following quarter. That winter, Tyler ran into Elena at an industry conference in Denver. She was at the hotel bar, alone, nursing a drink as he walked past. "Congratulations on your success, Tyler," she said, her voice stopping him. It carried no warmth, only a brittle formality. He nodded once, but offered no words. "You could have stayed and fought for your designs at TerraPeak, you know," she added, a hint of challenge in her tone. "Why didn't you?" Tyler considered this for a moment, then looked at her directly. "Some places, Elena," he said, his voice even, "don't deserve the fight." She flinched, almost imperceptibly, then quickly composed herself. "Vivian is stepping down next month," she informed him. "The board has asked me to take over as interim CEO." He almost felt a pang of sympathy for her. Almost. "Good luck, Elena," he said. And he meant it, to a degree. The industry needed strong, innovative companies. 6 months later, an unexpected package arrived at his office at Ascent Gear. It contained all his original sketchbooks from his 7 years at TerraPeak Outfitters. Tucked inside was a handwritten note from Peter. "These belong to you, Tyler. Elena's gone from the company now. Just thought you should know." Tyler opened one of the sketchbooks, his fingers tracing lines drawn years ago. He landed on a concept he'd sketched 3 years earlier, a modular tent system designed for extreme weather conditions, an idea he'd never even bothered to show Elena. That evening, he called Melissa. "Melissa," he said, a new surge of creative energy already bubbling. "I have an idea for our next winter collection." The following spring, Ascent Gear's stock value had doubled. TerraPeak Outfitters announced they were undergoing a major restructuring under entirely new leadership. Tyler didn't follow that news too closely. He was far too busy designing what came next. Sometimes, late at night, he would still think about his years at TerraPeak, not with bitterness anymore, but with a profound clarity. They had taught him something invaluable, just not what they had intended. In this challenging industry, as in life, your work truly speaks for itself, when it's finally given the chance. Elena had tried to silence his, but in her desperate attempt, she had only amplified its voice. The best revenge wasn't in proving her wrong. It was in finally finding a place, in Ascent Gear, that recognized what he'd known all along. That good design isn't about blindly following trends. It's about solving real problems for real people. And that, in the end, is what truly endures. Thank you for joining us on Life Stories 1 for Tyler Graves' incredible journey of perseverance and creative triumph. His story reminds us that true talent and integrity will always find a way to shine, even in the face of adversity. If you were inspired by Tyler's story and want to hear more like it, please make sure to subscribe to Life Stories and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next episode. We appreciate your support.